Now, political analyst Ntsikelelo Breakfast joins us live from Gqeberha, Southern Africa, to unpack what this renewed commitment could mean for the region. Thank you, Breakfast, for joining us on the news. Now, I'd like to start by asking, do you think that liberation parties in SADC still primarily serve the interests and the aspirations of their citizens, or have they shifted focus a little bit towards the consolidating and maintaining of power?
Well, there are two sources of political power in post-colonial states, namely the rural section of the population and the urban centers. So what we have seen of late has been a shift in terms of electoral politics. The majority of eligible voters are no longer older people. By contrast, they are younger people who, by and large, reside in urban centers. That's why the support base of liberation movements has shrunk. For instance, if you look at the electoral outcomes in South Africa, the ANC was dealt with a blow in a big way. Currently, it is sitting at 40%. The same goes to Mozambique. I don't think that FRELIMO won those elections in a way that is free and fair. The same goes to Namibia. SWAPO won by a very low margin in the 50s. So it looks like there is a general phenomenon at the SADC level of the support base of liberation movement coming down. My view is that the political lifespan or the political longevity of liberation movements, it tends to be affected by institutionalization of corruption. So I think liberation movements in general have fallen short in terms of addressing the issue of corruption. Also, they've fallen short of promoting development for the majority. And I think young people are becoming tired of older people who are making excuses for not getting the job done in government. So that's why they have not been doing well of late. And I think that was the rationale, among other things, behind them converging in South Africa to explore ways and means of improving their electoral performance.
Okay, now considering the recent elections in Zimbabwe and Mozambique, what are your thoughts on the role of liberation parties in either preventing or contributing to electoral violence? Are they doing enough to uphold these democratic principles?
These liberation movements, they tend to romanticize about the past. They tend to promote their liberation heritage, but they do very little in terms of improving the lives of the people. So it's good to preserve your intellectual and political capital, your political heritage. But also I think you need to improve the lives of the people in government. So I think they have been stuck in the narrative that they have contributed to the liberation struggle. The issue is that people in general don't vote for liberation movements because of their good track record of getting the job done. I think people vote for liberation movements because of their collective memory. For instance, in South Africa, we have big names like Oliver Tambo, Nelson Mandela. In Zimbabwe, you have a big name like Robert Mugabe. In Namibia, you've got a big name like Sam Nujoma. In Mozambique, you've got a big name, I forgot, Samora Michel. But that is not good enough if you don't translate those names into the material conditions of young people. The material conditions of young people have not been addressed. They have not changed for the better. So I think that's why, for instance, a lot of young people, it's either they vote on a small scale or they don't show up at the polls. So these liberation movements, I think they are not doing what they're supposed to do.
So, in your view, does Africa still need geriatric leaders who have been in power for decades? Or is it time for a new generation of leaders? They keep saying that the youths are the leaders of tomorrow, but seemingly tomorrow never comes. So how does this affect governance and democratic renewal, in your opinion?
Well,
in 30 seconds,
I think there needs to be... Yeah, look, I mean, it's up to the electorate whether people should hold on to power a bit longer or not, as long as they're elected by the majority. But what is wrong is to hold on to power against the will of the people. But if the constitution of a particular country allows a leader to hold on to power, that's fine. But the problem is when you come to power, not via electoral means. But I think at the same time, young people also must be afforded an opportunity to ascend into positions of authority and be represented and have a voice.
All right, thank you so much, Breakfast, for joining us.
Thank you very much.
And I mean, it's interesting to see the political landscape and how, once again, it's playing out. And we're hoping that there is a change, especially when it comes to the handover of power. I think that a lot of Africans are now tired of seeing it circulate amongst a group of people, but that's a conversation for another day. Thank you so much for joining us.